Alright, what's going on, guys? Back again today to share with you some of the new images that we have gotten from the Masters of the Universe Revelation Netflix series that's going to be coming from... it's being made by Kevin Smith and some other people. It's using the same animation crew, animation style studio that did the Castlevania series on Netflix. At least that was the case the last time I looked into it. And for the first time since it was announced several months ago, we have our first look at some still images of what the show is going to look like. And as you can see here, we're looking at an initial image of He-Man. It looks pretty good, even though it was kind of a anime studio. When they said it was going to be the same people that did Castlevania, it kind of got me a little worried they might go a little too anime with it. But this actually looks pretty good, and this looks like pretty traditional He-Man. It doesn't look anime style, it doesn't look too terribly 2000X style, and it definitely it's like the old school Filmation series, but it's better. You know, they've added more detail to like his gauntlets and bracers on his arms, to the vest on his chest. The power sword is a little more decorated, it's got more detail to it. So this is our first look at He-Man from this show. Next up we have, this is a picture of Teela, and it looks like she's in battle or going into battle. Once again, really good interpretation of the classic look for Teela. It goes well with most toy lines, and like with Masters of the Universe, that's kind of a key staple because it all stems around the toys. The toys started it all. So pretty good look for Teela here. I like, once again, a lot of good detail. And even just in the background, like whatever foresty jungle environment that they're in, really nice. Lots of glowing effects here on these like crystal lights. Very clean, very polished. Looks like it's being done well. What else do we have here? Here's a look of He-Man with the Sorceress. As you can see, like I said, the vest, his harness has a lot more detail. The gold belt on his loincloth has more detail. Sorceress, another really good, it's like the Filmation, just updated with, better animation. Very classic, very true to her look from Masters of the Universe. And then looks like she's in the process of using some magic here. Got some glowing effects there that look pretty good. And then we have our first look at a close-up on Skeletor. We're going to talk about Skeletor a little more in detail when I get to pictures of the toys that are going to be released with this, like in line with this this series. Skeletor, I don't know. I think if I just had to sum it up, especially after seeing the toy first and then now seeing this picture, it's almost like the skull is a mask, and like it's more like a mask than it is his actual head. The hood definitely, it just looks like it's all one piece almost, if that makes any sense. But lots of cool lightning effects. Looks like Skeletor in his traditional look, his traditional getup. And here we have a picture of the two of them locked in battle. Looks pretty good. I'm excited to see how the animation works out with like the fight scenes and stuff like that, how well animated the fight scenes are. And this is supposed to be a Masters of the Universe series for the adult fans, people who were into it as kids and they've grown up and they've maintained their interest in it. So I'm hoping when the fight scenes do happen, they're a little more adult. It's not just He-Man throwing people around or throwing them in pools of water. I'm hoping that like he actually makes good use of the power sword. I hope there's pretty good like sword play animation. Not just for He-Man, but for all the characters and all their various weapons. But with the animation style that they're going for, and just by the way that these still images look, I'm pretty sure we're going to get that. I think that's the direction this is going. Here we got our first look at Prince Adam, and if I had to guess, I'd say this is a moment where he raises the sword and says, "By the power of Grayskull," and becomes He-Man. Pretty solid looking Prince Adam, pretty traditional. He's a lot skinnier, a lot scrawnier than the Filmation Prince Adam, at least from this point of view in this picture, but I'm okay with that. It always seemed kind of silly to me for Prince Adam to be super buffed and jacked up and ripped, and then when he changes into He-Man, it's like the only thing that changes are his clothes. That wouldn't really, like, people would still know who he is. This is like clearly he is a kid, he's younger, and when he turns into He-Man, he not only looks larger, more muscular, he also looks older. So I like that a lot. It's good, another good angle of all the added detail on the power sword. But overall, really like this. Looks pretty good. And here we have a picture of a couple other characters. I guess this is Orco. I don't know. If it had the O on his chest, I would know, but I don't see that anywhere. So this could be a different Trollin. But then again, it could also be Orco. I really have no idea. This, I want to say, is Teela. Maybe she got a bit of a haircut at some point in the series, and she's wearing a different outfit, some better armor. Looks like they're on a ship, if I had to guess. Ship on the water. We got Evil Lyn here. I still think Evil Lyn and her design, especially with the color choices, it looks like something out of like Avatar: The Last Airbender. She looks like a member of this like demonic faction of the Water Tribe. And then back here we have Roboto. It's clearly Roboto, but you don't get to really see how he really looks other than his head, which is, in my opinion, a little lackluster. Not too great. And then he's covered wearing a poncho, so you don't really get to see Roboto and how he really looks. But, I mean, when the show comes out, we'll get our real good look at him. And then this character, no idea who that is. Maybe it's in 2000X He-Man Masters of the Universe, we were introduced to a character named Decker. Could be his daughter. I don't know if Decker is going to be part of this at all. But I honestly have no idea who this is. Could be a brand new character for the show. And here we have an image, the quintessential image, He-Man on top of Battle Cat, riding Battle Cat, sword hoisted in the air. Another nice detail about the power sword is they've actually wrapped the hilt. So it's wrapped with some like reddish brown leather. I don't hate it. It's a nice touch. It's a little more realistic. You would want your sword handle wrapped with something a bit more comfortable to hold. I like the look of Battle Cat. Looks ferocious, looks powerful, looks strong. Overall, this stuff just all looks really great. I have zero complaints with how this looks so far. So let's get into the toys. So this is the initial 4 figures of the toy line that's going to be coming out. Mattel is starting another Masters of the Universe toy line in addition to their Origins line, which is out right now. And I'm going to be making a separate video talking about the Origins line in coming up here soon. So pay attention for that. These figures, they don't look bad, and I think they do capture the way that the characters look in the show. I'm not sure about this facial expression for He-Man. And then my biggest problem, I would have to say, is just the lack of paint applications. Like, there's clearly the figures are painted, obviously, but there's no extra paint detail. Like, specifically with Mossman, you can see he's very textured and he's sculpted really well, but there's no extra paint detail to really bring out the sculpting of all the moss and vines and stuff that they put into the body mold. So it's just this flat green that has this like texture to it. Definitely they could have gone the extra mile and added some paint deco, some extra applications there to really show off the texturing, especially if you're not going to flock it in like that like softy fake moss stuff like they've done with Mossman figures in the past. If you're just going to do a plastic sculpt, you definitely want to add the extra paint applications to bring out the sculpt and show the highlights of it. And then with He-Man, I have to say, like, same thing with like the fur on the boots and on the loincloth, and then the studs in the belt and the wrists. I think those also could have been colored, because as we saw in the images from the anime, they are like an orange. And if you look on if you look on the He-Man figure from Masters of the Universe Classics, these studs in the belt and on the wrists are also painted orange. Just adds a nice little bit of extra detail. I think his hair color came out a little too light, but once again, that's paint apps, that's extra deco done to the figure after the fact. I think that this is just a way to save money, be cheap on Mattel's part. I think this is the closest just color of plastic that they had. So rather than sculpt it, mold it, and put it onto the figure and then add extra paint detail. I think they just said, close enough. That color's close enough, and they just, sculpted it, molded it, put it on the figure, and it comes as is. So that kind of sucks. It would be nice if we got the extra paint detail on these to really bring out some of the designs and the sculpting. My problem with Skeletor here is I do not like, other than the fact that this hand, I guess he's going to come with interchangeable hands, but I don't know why this hand is open. It would have been better as a fist or another gripping hand so he could grip another weapon. And then I do not like how the head is, like we talked about in the photo of the animation, I do not like how his head is, the skull and the hood are all one piece. I'm not a fan. I would have rather it been like the skull and the hood are two separate things. And then Evelyn over here, I don't know why she's blue. I think that's just really what it is. We've seen her purple and black, but we've never seen her with all these different variations of blue. It's giving me, I'll say it again, it's giving me that really like Avatar: The Last Airbender water tribe kind of vibe, and I'm not feeling it. I don't really like this for Evelyn. So these are pretty lackluster. I don't really see myself picking up any of these, I know these are the figures for this Revelation show, but I don't see why my versions of these characters from the Masters of the Universe Classics line couldn't also just represent the characters in the show. These are not offering me anything more. They're not giving me a reason to buy them. Like when I already have versions of these characters in the Classics line, these are not giving me any reason to buy them. They're not better. They're not even just as good as the Classics line. So yeah, other than the fact that it's something new, it's new. It's a new He-Man toy line, and if you want to collect it just because it's new and you've been deprived of buying He-Man figures for a while and you just want more He-Man stuff to buy and spend your money on, then go ahead and do it. But they're just, Classics was better, and this is just not going to compete with it. And then we have some looks at the Battle Cat toy from the Revelation show. So here he is with the saddle and the helmet on, and I still think they overdid these mouth pieces right here. They kind of look like insect spider mandibles. I like it. I think it would have been better if the helmet was tighter to the jaw. And if you go back in the video and look at pictures in the animation, you'll see that they are not flared out this much. So I think that's wrong. So this is like the first really well articulated or semi well articulated Battle Cat figure that we are going to get from Mattel or from anyone since the Masters of the Universe Classics Battle Cat. Once again, though, same thing with Moss Man and everything I said in the previous picture. It looks like they sculpted the fur, but there's just no extra paint detail to really bring out the sculpt and show that it is textured and sculpted well. The Classics figure is better, and if you have the Classics figure, I don't really see any reason for you to buy this. If you don't have the Classics figure and it's just a little too pricey for you and you don't want to, shell out the money for it, it is an expensive figure. So if you want to get this guy to be your, Battle Cat, your articulated Battle Cat figure, I guess it would work. It should be in the same scale, but it is an inferior figure compared to the Classics version. And then I got two more pictures. Here's a good side profile for Battle Cat, and it kind of showing off a bit more of the articulation from a side view. Got joints here, in the shoulders, neck. The jaw can open and close. I believe the tail can move up and down. And then here you get the very front face view of Battle Cat, and you can really see just how far apart these mandibles are spaced. I think that's wrong. I think they should have been much closer to the jaw. I don't understand what this is. And we'll have to wait and see it in the show and see if that's really how it looks in the show. If that is how it looks in the show, then I understand why they did it, even though I still don't like it. But if you're going for a toy line to be based off of this Revelation show and that's how he looks in the Revelation show, then I understand why they did it. So yeah, that's all the images, the new recent images that we got from Masters of the Universe Revelation, both looks at still images from the animation as well as some of the new images for the toys that are going to be coming out to go along with this show. It is a Netflix show. It's going to be on Netflix only, Netflix exclusive. Should be coming out sometime this year, maybe towards the end of 2021. It looks like they are making good progress with it. If they've got all this, if they've already releasing all these images of the show already, and I've heard that they've got the score pretty much done. Kevin Smith did a video on his podcast where he played the musical score for the transformation scene when Prince Adam turns into He-Man. So it looks like the show's really coming together. I expect it to be out late this year. Who knows? Maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. But yeah, if you're a Masters of the Universe fan, or if you're just, slightly interested, check this out. It's going to be coming out pretty soon. And yeah, other than that, if you liked what you saw here, please hit the like button. Check out some of my other videos. Maybe give the channel a subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.